Hello to all my friends and family, and welcome to Jim's 5am Club. As you can see, I'm on top of a ferry heading back to Circular Quay. I just jumped the ferry here and went all the way to Watson's Bay. It's the first time I've got the ferry to Watson's Bay, and it was a lovely experience. Something that I plan to do time and time again, because it's easy. You just get on the ferry there at Circular Quay, and 15 minutes later, you're at Watson's Bay, where you can enjoy a beer, grab a meal, go for a bit of a walk, and even go for a swim. Go for a swim at Camp Cove, and then head back to the city and bus it home. Nice and convenient. You can enjoy, as I said, enjoy a beer, enjoy a beverage, without the worry of being intoxicated and driving, and make the most of these opportunities. I was rained off work today because it's been raining all weekend, and you can probably notice that the harbour, the colour of the harbour water is a lot browner than usual because of all the storm runoff. So we'll see how we go. The Warragamba Dam is currently spilling water at the rate of 100 Olympic-sized pools per minute, and emptying the volume of water that equates to the entire Sydney Harbour every single day. So a massive amount of water being spilled into the rivers and into the ocean from this rain condition that we've had over the past few days. Anyway, today what I want to do is I want to take you on a book summary, on a journey, on a book entitled Selfish Reasons to Have More Kids. Selfish Reasons to Have More Kids, which is a thought-provoking book, something to at least get us thinking. And the author is Bryan Caplain. And his call to action to all of us is that parenting doesn't need to be too stressful. A lot of people overthink parenting and put far too much effort into it, and the author is suggesting that we don't need to put in so much effort and to be so overindulged and worried about parenting, because if anything, being too involved as a parent may work as a disadvantage to our children. So the author says here in his first point is that parenting choices don't have to have a huge impact on kids. But that's the good news, because there have been a number of studies, and I don't know how accurate this is, and it's not my opinion, it's the author's opinion, but what he's saying is that they've done studies of twins that have been separated from birth, and even though they've been separated from birth and separated from their biological parents, when it comes to the educational outcomes, the political beliefs, the health risks, and all of those things, there is a suggestion that once a person is conceived, a genetic dice is already cast, and what you achieve in life and what your outcomes are have more to do with your genes than what they have to do with your environment and your upbringing. Believe it or not, it's a remarkable statement, something that I wasn't quite aware of, and I'm hearing it for the first time. But I guess there are studies out there, and there are people out there that believe this and consider this to be something which is noteworthy from a psychological and from a developmental point of view, that at least we need to consider it and to give it some credence. So what this author is saying is that in the long term, all children, all people tend to revert. This is very, very important. They tend to revert to their genetic baseline. So what we're saying is, regardless of what you do, regardless of how much time and effort you put into children, into their education, into their experiences, at some point in time, everybody reverts to their genetic baseline. So the key message from this author is that we don't need to sweat the small stuff and just to let nature take its course and to be there, I guess, for our children, to help them grow and develop, to be a safety net, to help them in their bad times and to be the springboard to help bounce them back up. But to know that regardless of what we do as parents, the die is already set. The die is already being cast in terms of what their capability and capacity is, in terms of making the most of their lives. Interesting, very interesting indeed. The next point that the author makes is a very powerful one as well, is that we shouldn't be listening to the scary headlines that we see in the papers and in the media, because most children today, this is a powerful point, most children today are living better lives than what children have ever lived before. So the overall picture of safety, the doom and gloom, just isn't accurate and is overstated and over-reported, is what the author is suggesting. Because, as the author says, children have never had it better than what they've got it today. Vaccinations have eradicated diseases. Childhood cancers are now very, very treatable. Stranger danger is very much overblown. And kidnappings and murderings are very rare indeed. So from the author's perspective, and it's something to consider and to think about, is that children are really, really blessed. Children coming into the world today are a lot more blessed than children of previous generations. So the basic call to action that the author is putting forward here is for everybody to have more kids, because it ain't that hard. And the social scientists, this is an interesting one. I had to laugh about this. The social scientists are unsure if kids make parents happy or less happy. And they're not quite sure that having children makes you happier or less happier. But the one fact that the author was able to come up with is that once you have children, 90% of parents don't regret having children. I thought it would have been 100%, but there seems to be 10% of parents actually regret having their children, which has been pretty sad, but it's a fact of life, I guess, that we need to understand and be aware of. And the other thing that the author talks about here, and I agree with them, that parents should stress less and don't be as intensive as what they've been in the past, because intensive parenting doesn't make all that much of a difference. If anything, it causes stress for both parents and kids and causes problems as opposed to fixing and eradicating problems. So the key message from this author is to be less stressed as a parent, to have more kids and to enjoy the process, and to not spend too much effort and too much time trying to shape their future based on an ideal that you have in your mind, but to appreciate and to enjoy every child for what they are, because they are a gift from God, and God will provide for each and every one of us. And we will all have problems, regardless of how wealthy we are, regardless of how fortunate we are from a financial perspective, regardless of how much love we get from our parents. Sooner or later, society, life will give us our just desserts, I guess is one way of putting it. We will all get our challenges. We will all have our salt and pepper of life to get to experience the ups and downs, the ins and outs, the joys, the tribulations, the successes, the failures, all of those things that make life variable and so interesting. So I think I'll leave it there for today. So thank you very much for joining me on Jim's 5am Club aboard the ferry here, Sydney bound. Let's see if we can see the harbour bridge. There we go, we've got the harbour bridge coming our way, and we've also got a destroyer, number 41, heading out of the harbour, flying that beautiful white ensign. Good luck, boys. We respect what you do. Stay safe. And let's finish off with a positive affirmation. I'm alive, I am well, and I feel absolutely great. To my friends and family, stay connected, stay relevant, stay reasonable, and most importantly, let's live to make the most of today, regardless of how wet it is, how overcast it is. You always have choices to make your day the best day ever. You always have an opportunity to make every day your heyday. And you don't just have one or two heydays, or your heyday doesn't necessarily need to be in your past. You can create your heyday every single day. So thank you very much for joining me, and I look forward to coming to you again later on today, or maybe tomorrow, from a different location with a different message, a message of empowerment, where we can be the wind beneath our wings, and where we can hopefully live, learn and pass it on, and enjoy the message of empowerment to help us get through the morning, get through the day, and make the most of each unique moment that we have available to us. Yasas, Vilakya, take care, and thank you for joining me once again. Bye for now.